Welcome
Welcome
to Timeline Talks.
to the Timeline Talks.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Coming to you live in Technicolor from the beautiful Hollywood Hills, California. The show where the total retail price of their advice is $0. This is Timelines Talks. Featuring guest stars, Morph action figure collector, Kapla, It's Stars and Garden. Also featuring Joey, have you ever been in a Turkish prison? Look out, it's Automaton 2000. And now, the man with the chatter, he doesn't have a bladder. Here's your host, Captain Idol.
Yes, welcome ladies and gentlemen to Timelines Talks, the premium, exclusive, #1 show for all things Star Trek. Timelines, I am Captain Idol, your host, and I am joined, as always, by my faithful co-host, Automaton 2000, and invading from the Cymru Beath Fleet, Walt Koenig, and Travelling Man. Anyway, yes, I'm adding effects, isn't that cool? Yes, we are here to talk about Star Trek timelines and all that things, and thank you for our two guests for coming and joining and invading our show with your fleets. But before we get to that, we have to do a few bits of admin first. First of all, are you guys aware that we have some other shows on our YouTube channel? If you're not, go look at them, because we've got, me and Auto and some of the other guys have just started doing the Star Trek, where we're going through Star Trek episodes. We've been doing the pilots recently and having just finished Broken Bow with Racing Liners. That's up there now. And we've also got our playthroughs of Elite Force and all those other things. So if you're only watching the Twitch, thank you for coming. Check out some of our other stuff. It's all out there. Now, that's my shill moment now. We have to spin the wheel. Let's spin that wheel for our to win a sub. For anyone that doesn't know, each week you can submit a show title, and please work. Oh god, there it is. You can submit a show title on our Discord, which you can join at discord.gg/timelinestalks, and you get a chance to get on this wheel to win a sub. So shall we spin that wheel, gentlemen? Shall we spin the wheel?
No.
Oh, fine. I'm spinning it. All right. Oh, it's Danjavin! Oh, a slim win for Danjavin over there. So let us know when your sub ends, Danjavin, and we will buy you a sub.
That's not fair. That's nepotism. There's two cab fleet members
that's right.
on
It's a
here.
cab win. You summoned the luck. That's right. Well done. Oh, absolutely
That's
fantastic.
It's pure luck.
Okay, our fantastic guest. Walt, we've had you on before. You are one of our faithful mods, but let's pay attention to Mr. Travelling Man. Welcome for joining us. How the devil are you this week?
I'm doing well. Taking a little bit of a lunch break to come on. You guys are normally on a little early for me, but thought it was worth making an appearance.
I hope you have a 4-hour lunch break. Cause
It is. It's a long lunch break.
Nice. A long boozy lunch
And if
break.
it's at work from home.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah. A French-style lunch break with a bottle of wine as well.
Oh, we have a subscriber. Thank you, Eric Nelson. Thank you for subscribing. Always appreciate it. Someone's calling out saying Royals fan.
Yes. Royals fan as well. So I actually grew up in Nebraska, so they're pretty close by.
So I noticed also the Lions sticker, who are rivals with my team, the Packers. So I told them the rivalry never ends. It's Big Book versus Cab, and now it's spilled into sports too.
Yeah, it's all right. I won't hold that against you.
When there's so many other things to hold against me.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about, say, Cab, obviously, the Cymru Beath, the Cab fleet people know of, but you've been doing a few other things. You've got the Cab player tools. You've also got a few fleet boss battle spreadsheet tools as well. Do you want to tell us a few bits about those?
Dude, you say their fleet name like you're saying Worcestershire. You just kind of rush through it and hope that no one stops and asks
It's
you.
Welsh. Like, you can't get Welsh right unless you are Welsh, so I'm doing my best here.
I can't say it. I've tried. I can get pretty close, but yeah. I mean the cab ratings been a few years now, initially I started doing that. I was basically trying to come up with a way of figuring out who to share during faction events. So that's kind of where the shuttle portion of that came from. And then it just kind of started growing. And I think I put it out in the public. I think somebody was there were resources going down for some reason. I'm sure there was something going on. Maybe your page got blacked out. And I was like, if other people need things, I'm going to throw that out there. It was a bit different than Big Book was. You guys were, doing tiers and talking about crew, whereas this one was more, formula based. Just plug the stats into a function and spit out some results. And not saying one's better than the other. Never said that, but I found it to be pretty reliable. So,
but if someone did ask you point blank which one is better, you would say.
Also, we don't bring guests on here to be under fire.
My finger is hovering over the server ban button as
it's not like I never used Big Book before, and it's not like I don't look at it now. I mean, it's the same. And one of the things that I look at it, and if Cab has rated something wildly differently than Big Book has, maybe there's something wrong, and that makes me give the crew a second look. In rare cases, I notice an error. If you see the spreadsheet that I use to generate that score, it's ridiculous, and there's going to be things wrong in there. And then certain crew like Gary Mitchell comes to mind, where it was so out of the blue the way that they made that crew that it kind of didn't work in the formula I had. So
it doesn't work in the gauntlet either. So I wouldn't worry too much about him.
So I call those formula breakers. When if a red flag gets looked up, I go throws up. I go look and try to figure out why it's scored the way it is when it should or shouldn't be. And it's just crunching numbers. And so recently we added. I actually kind of like the. I started scoring fleet boss battle traits. It's basically taking the number of traits, average, figuring out how rare each trait is. So if there's a particularly rare trait and a crew has a lot of rare traits, they're going to rate higher. Like Mintak and Troy, of course, is like number one, just for the sheer number and rarity of those. And it's ongoing, but things don't evolve; they die. So. I keep looking at things there. The other tool is the Fleet Boss Battles combo helper.
That is very excellent. We've been using that you've seen in chat as well. We've been using that with GBP and a few others have. That's actually generally a lifesaver.
I was doing a lot of updating with that. I kind of took a break for a little while because I was neglecting some other things, and it was kind of taking a lot of time. I'm now back to poking at it again. The biggest issue I've had with that lately is the whole duplicate trait thing. It seems like that's the number one bug report I get on that is, I ran this crew and it didn't eliminate these other crew. And it's like, well, there's more than one trait in there. So, I can't, it's a spreadsheet. It's not a program. So there's limits to what it can do, but I have some ideas to fix that. But, again, It's evolving. If it doesn't evolve, it'll die. And I'm sure once I think it's perfect, they'll add a third known trait to Fleet Boss Battles and make me have to redo it all again.
Like they'll add the seventh skill or something.
It's also it's whatever the next boss is. I think we're going to see again. We assuming we're going to see a different strategy might be required. Because
what if
the kind of magician just could be. It'd be boring if it's just another clone of the Planet Kill. If it's just the same thing. Oh yeah, big damage. You can't avoid it, but. Hopefully they'll do something a bit different and make us think again. Because if we go back 6 months, whatever it was when the Fleet Boss Battle was coming, something like 6 months ago, maybe not quite that. Was any of us thinking we were ever going to be using First Officer Chekhov, even Mayweather? Mayweather all of a sudden was like, number one retrieval for a lot of people.
We joked.
I never thought I'd have injured.
Yeah.
I never thought I'd have injured Torres unfrozen.
Yeah, injured Torres, away team Neelix, Ambassador Spock, Bajoran Ducat, people like that. Just
Oh yeah.
great, great crew to do it for the fleet boss battles now. So
It does feel like they sort of try to go minimalist with the first one, which makes sense. You don't want to add too many elements in because they stripped cloak, they stripped accuracy and evasion, so it's like these things aren't even factored in. So it really narrows the pool of useful attributes, and I have to imagine we'll see them open that back up then in future bosses, and we'll get one that's maybe shield repair is the best way to go, or you have to stack evasion or whatnot.
Something that nerfs instant damage.
Yeah, I mean, thematically, you can make that work, sure.
I think no, go. No, please.
I was going to say that I'm, in my list of things, I really, really, really wanted Deep Space Nine itself to be the next boss, but I'm sure it'll be something like Crystalline Entity. I just keep thinking of that, Way of the Warrior, the Dominion attacking Deep Space Nine. I was like, there's other factions besides Federation. Why can't Deep Space Nine be the boss in the boss battle?
That's
and
a cool idea.
All those ships attacking it from the outside. But I'm sure it'll just be Crystalline Entity, and you'll just pew it the whole way.
Well, what if I had this thought the other day? It's like, what if the next fleet boss battles isn't actually ship battle? What if it's something like away team? Like, they never said like the boss is going to be defeated by ship battles in every iteration, have they? Or am I missing something? We could end up doing away missions or something else. Or
they haven't, but I think there's possibly, would that be like another game mechanic that
would
have to develop and have it in that they don't
Maybe.
have now? And is that going to be another step too far?
who knows? Who knows?
It implies ships too, but you never know.
But no, excellent.
The big tease from Ben was that this next feature is going to change the way you play boss battle. So
Yeah, that's what gives me pause.
But I think it'll still be ship stuff. But
You're going
we'll
to turn the game off, and you're going to play Call of Duty. If you can prestige 15 times.
kind of, well, one of the few big disappointments I had with the system was that it didn't utilize more of your crew. It is nice to have the irrelevant crew used, but something like expeditions or a system where you fatigue and you have to switch up your crew gives you a lot broader usability, where you're still kind of doing 4 crew at a time, even if it's like 4 super rare, 4 blue, 4 legendary. So
sounds like you want more episodes.
yeah, but they'd have to really lean into node unlocks then. Something, corrosion or something
They've
like
kind
weird.
of done with this, though, haven't they? They've given us the node unlocks in the same way you would.
Yeah, but I
do in a
completely ignore
mission.
them. So I want them to
Yeah.
do something different than that. That's what I'm
No,
whining
but I mean,
about.
they've put the groundwork in for we can do randomized nodes at different
so-
points.
What if they hard locked progress behind nodes? Would you guys
As in,
like that?
What kind of progress?
Like you couldn't finish the boss, say, unless you locked in those combos.
I mean, that's what it is now, really, isn't it? Well, no, I suppose you can still defeat it with just damage, can't you?
Yeah, you can do it with just damage.
Yeah.
It would be good if it was fleet, because obviously somebody in the fleet's going to have a deeper roster than some of the other ones, and that might help bring some of the. But then you're going to get people that are like, I have a fleet of 3 people, and
Yeah.
there's always going to be somebody not happy. So.
They're already suffering, I would say. I see a lot of comments on the forums, especially about smaller fleets not being able to get very far in this. So
I
feel
have
for
seen
them.
fleets pretty much die, like 3 or 4 fleets just pretty much die, and they've all just scattered to the wind to bigger fleets. Like, it's happened, so it's, yeah.
All right, we're almost 20 minutes in. Walt, what do you drink?
What am I drinking? It's Wildwood. It's a Black Forest stout. It's one I got back in the summer, but it was stupidly hot, and it wasn't really stout weather, so I'd
You
forgotten
can
I
drink
had
stouts
it.
anytime. You can have a cold stout, it's fine.
I'm drinking a stout too. Look at that.
Ah. I'm not. I'm just drinking a very tall can of IPA. It's called steampunk artwork on it.
You're such a basic bitch, Idol. You and your IPA.
Just a basic IPA. So common. We haven't done event winners yet. Shall we go through the event winners? Let's talk about those guys. So congratulations. I was 20 minutes in. I haven't even done that. I need to talk more. I need to get it out of my system. Come on. Congratulations to SSR's very own Gazoo for winning a 5/5 Rongovian Vaso himself. So Bajoran claps all round. Number 2, AJ Warp 9. Number 8, the Cisco. Number 10, Aliens. 11, Blue Angel. 12, 13-hour Voyager Extraordinaire, James T. Kirk. Number 18, Methos. 23, Sanketse Day. Number 27, Frank 34, Cat Lady herself, Pauhura, and for the following event, which we have just concluded, congratulations to KM's very own Data for winning himself a 5 of 5 Ixtana Rax banner. Number 3, Paladin. Number 6, AJ Warp 9. Number 9, Rowden. 16, Widest of Brims. 18, Jim Berlin. 25, Pauhura again. 27, Blue Angel again. 30, Aliens again. 43, the very first inaugural 12-hour Voyager, Mr. Roy Kirk himself. Congratulations all round for everyone there. And yes, I have got better at saying Sunkanse Siete when she's battering it in my ears every week. It's like, you will say my name right. You can't help it.
I threw the links in chat for what we were talking about. The cab tools, aka the Trav tools. I'm going to call you cab for the whole show. I have to get on your nerves, and half because it's just.
What do you want to be? Do you want to be Trav? Do you want to be Mr. Man? Do you want to be Mr. Cab?
I've been called worse.
All right, worse it is.
I think the general short is Trav, but
Trav.
Whatever. I answer to many things.
Travis Mayweather? No, okay, we won't go there.
Don't insult the man. Come on.
Speaking of, how did you come to be running a Welsh fleet when you yourself are American-led? Unless I'm not seeing the obvious.
Well, I'm not the admiral. I had a brief stint as the admiral, but there's kind of has switched between a few people, and my turn was over, so I put it back down. That I found that fleet, found Cab on Discord. When I first started playing, I had joined some random fleet. I didn't really fully know the game yet. There was nobody active on there. I don't even remember what the name of it was. Cab did a fleet recruitment, and I messaged him on Discord and joined there, and I've been there ever since. I'm obviously not Welsh. I have some affinity to UK through, heritage, Scottish mostly. But, nothing wrong with Welsh. And they're good people. It's a really relaxed, laid back fleet. I think it's the sweet spot. It's not crack the whip. If you're not placing in events, you're out, very newbie friendly. We frequently onboard a level 20 when we have a opening, and everybody pitches in to help them get up to speed. And it's a game. It's no pressure, and good group of people on the Discord. So I like it.
And then you have Walt as well.
And we have Walt.
You said it like you have Walt. Yeah. Like the ginger steps on. Yeah, here he is.
I'll be sad if we don't get Dangavan on the show at some point.
Oh, yeah.
My fellow cab.
Yeah, I mean Trav says we've got looking at the current fleet boss battle we were running I think we had 43 people had pitched in, done some damage. With looking at the nodes, we're lucky we've got Trav sometimes because he's got so many of the cards. He's up there with the Whale of Wales. But the other guys are pitching in. Obviously we've got great tools that really helps. But people are clearing nodes, getting their damage in it, and everyone seems to be really sort of again, like we said before. Going over old ground here, which united the fleets, I think, in a lot of cases. So, which we're all good.
Is Whale of Wales like the King of Kings? Like Moses parting the Red Sea of nodes.
That's how we view him. He stands on the mountain. We all just worship him. So
I play Pokemon. I don't play timelines. So
actually, I want to ask you about the card collecting stuff. But before we move completely away from player resources, I do have to shout out again. No name namer. He's too humble to say this himself, even in his own Big Book Discord channel. But he's paid for the hosting for our site and the bot since it launched in January, and we were going to lose that. It was going to be several $100s a month. He spent the last several weeks rewriting the whole back end of that to keep it free for everyone. And not saying that we'll never take donations to keep it running, but he's definitely been excellent putting in the money, putting in the time. This guy is more machine than man at this point. I don't know where I was going with that. He's more Big Book than I am. Yeah, round of applause to him. And that resource wouldn't be there without
Absolutely.
him. So thank you for that.
We just go around the idea, start talking a bit about various patrons, but I think he's just like, no, I'm going to do this. I'm going to get the cost down. So yeah, kudos to him. So anyway, what was I going to say?
So,
oh, go on. No, you were going to say
Trav,
something.
Yeah, we're talking about because Pokemon. Do you have all the cards or almost all the cards, including the recent First to Max? Tell me about that.
I have everything that can be obtained by normal means, basically. So I still don't have Frantic McCoy because my fleet's not there. Outside of that, well, shoot, who don't I have? Let me look here.
Now, if you want to bash, this is an open platform to bash WRG. We do it every week. So if you want to talk about Eevee-Suit Boimler, the $50 love child, then you can do that too.
There's probably not a lot I can say that hasn't already been said. I have not purchased Eevee-Suit Boimler. Outside of him and Frantic McCoy, those are the only two cards that you can get right now that I don't have. I don't plan to buy them. I mean, I'm not one that's... I kind of have I think that they overprice things. That's basically the point of it. Spending money is not necessarily try not to rant and rave a little bit too much, but I think even when it comes down to how much honor costs, it costs to buy a citation. It seems like there's a lot of greed there, and there's not. I don't think they're maximizing profits. And the idea that you're going to plunk down and say you can only have this card if you pay $50 with no other means to get them, I don't like that. I understand that they're a business and they need money to support their operations and things like that, but there's ways to generate that. It's not like there's people not spending, people aren't spending money. Why they need to do that, I don't know. I don't know whose idea this was and why they thought it was a good idea. But you know what? At the end of the day, I'll bet you more than enough people bought it and they're just fine. So, I'm going to wait on that one. He's still defaced on cab tools.
Oh yes, the United Front that came about.
He drew a mustache on him and like devil horns and.
Yeah, he's and he's still graded at $$ and all that good stuff. But there's a real score you can get it. Anybody I pipe scores to probably has the real score. It's all aesthetic on the site,
So for premium Cab Tool subscribers, they can get the behind-the-scenes stats.
For $100, you can see how Eevee-Suit Boimler is scored.
If you price it at $49.99, that's still cheaper than WRG.
So I used to play the old collectible card game back in the day. I liked that. I liked the aspect of that. At my point in my life, I don't like collecting a lot of crap anymore. So when I first started playing, I was like, oh, this is going to be like a card collecting thing. And I don't have to maintain all this paper, and so I've always just gone for everything. Get them, freeze them. So, and that really ended up paying off when Fleet Boss Battles came out, because if somebody's needed to unlock a node, I have them. So, yeah.
How long have you been playing for? When did you start?
That's a good question. I think it's 4 years now. I don't even remember. I know Cab Tools is like, or the Cab ratings came out like 3.5 years ago, so it's probably a little over 4 years now.
Do you remember your first gold? Do you remember the first gold you won an event? Everyone remembers that first.
The first gold that I won in an event, I don't remember. The first gold I got and finished was one of the Kiras. I'm going to totally draw a blank on this right now. That's a good question.
Welcome to live television.
Disguised Kira. That was
Disguised
the first
Kira.
gold I actually got and finished. And you know what? I think it was Minuet. I think was the first one I got in an event.
I'm so sorry.
I used to heck out of her. I thought she was great because she was better than anything I had. So.
Right.
That didn't last very long, but
I remember thinking the same thing about Seven in Silver when I first got her. I was just like, wow, she's got all these stats, and she's like one of 3 golds I had.
yeah.
I remember my first purple was blooming Dr. LaForge, and I thought, wow, he's amazing.
Yeah.
Because compared to the greens and blues and stuff, he was.
He's a LaForge with med. Wow.
Really, you say things, I look at cards now and I kind of just shrug them off, but I think about it, and it's like there's players out there that those are really good cards for. So, and that's kind of, if we circle back to, the cab ratings, part of the reason I did things the way I did was so that every crew kind of got a little, you could look up anybody and see how they related to anybody else. And I thought that was important. So I'm sure, Big Book does a good job of that too, but I don't know, just, I wanted to come up with a number you could compare to another number. And granted, if they're 0.1 off from each other, they're functionally equal. But, if you want to say, hey, I really need, somebody who's good at voyages, you can see if somebody's much higher than another one. That's who you should probably look at. So,
shout out in chat. Who was your first gold? I know Genos has led the charge there, but yeah, let us know who your first golds were. It'd be interesting to see when people sort of. I'm going to say no. First immortal gold. Who was the first person you got Wall? I think mine was Killy. But what about you, Wall? What was one of your first golds?
I'm starting to think my first immortal gold. No, that's a struggle to remember. Certainly in the early days, I remember my first purple was Dr. LaForge, and my first gold, mate, I think it was Ada Sail Crusher.
Okay.
My first gold, I think. Then and around the same time, I think I got 7 of 9. Again, like the numbers, like Gauntlet, was like, oh my god, this is like this crew is incredible. But I can't remember who my first immortal was. I've not tracked all mine like some people have since like year dot. I've only sort of really been taking big notice of the last year and a half really for me, sort of tracking my crew since I joined Cab really. That's sort of just sort of so. I think my shortly after I joined was my 600th crew was Desert Giorgio. So. Yeah, I think from the campaign at the time. So
I think you were right, Idle. Everyone remembers their first because everyone in chat is chiming in.
Everyone does. You always, like, if you've been playing, you always remember your first goal. I remember the first one I won in an event was Dr. Anne Mulhall, and I was just like, I was doing a skirmish with a Constellation class in Killy. Like, I was just, it just took so long to do, but I was like, I got there, yay! But you Otto, I don't think I've ever spoke to you what your first gold was. In all the years we've been doing this, you never told me about your Timeline's memories. Mind you, maybe it's because you've re-rolled about 1,000 times, so they're all first golds.
I think it was January 2018, and I ended up buying the starter pack on Steam. So I was, big on Steam. Had games through there before I started playing. So I got 2 golds out of that 10-pack, or out of the 10 packs. It was Geordie Laborg, Assimilated LaForge, who was a monster at the time.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Gauntlet, Great Voyager. People used to use this evasion in Arena, believe it or not. Engel's hard to come by this and that. And then the other one was Intendant Kira, who was also pretty good for a command dip suck. So I definitely lucked out at the start. And they hooked me. They give you better golds when you first start to make sure you keep playing. That's how it works.
And then you start thinking to yourself, I wonder how good these are compared against each other, and you start developing tools, and then
yeah, I mean, there's certainly a lot of iconic golds back in those early days because it was all like
I remember when
I said you got Wrathful Khan and all those sort of crew, and it's like Judge Q, and they're like, oh wow, look at these, they're iconic and they're great, and you look back and you go, yeah, they're crew,
Well, they used to make good. Oh, sorry, go.
Because when I started the Big Book, it was Big Book of Behold advice. So I only wanted to do Portal crew. We didn't have 1,200 crew back then, so it was much easier to just focus on, okay, who can you pull from Behold? Because that's like the big deal for everyone is getting a Behold. So I think I started with like 80 crew, and it took me a month to write the first draft of all the notes but I was tired of waking up in the middle of the night and scrolling my phone and seeing someone ask for Behold device. I'm like, all right, I feel bad, so I'll answer. All right, this is better here and there, and I'm like, I got to get some sleep. I'm just gonna write it ahead of time, and they can look at it if they want, and if not, I'll sleep like a baby. So,
and you've never slept since.
Yeah.
Well,
Happy away.
Yeah, speaking of whether the crew are good or not, I mean, they used to make old golds good, now they're making new golds good. Well, let's find out. Let's have a look at this week's and next week's event offerings. And let's start with one we missed, and my stream deck has broken, so I'm going to have to do this manually. Oh, gosh. I hate having to click things. It's so tiresome. 1 second. Where is the goddamn button for it? There it is. There we go.
Clicking like some kind of amateur.
It's terrible, isn't it? I prefer a nice big button to press. Fantastic. Princess Thalia and Runa, the first appearance in the game of Laan Noonien Singh herself. And be warned, people, spoilers for Star Trek Strange New Worlds. We have said this before, we are going to be talking about the episode as it is. But let's talk about the card first. Command Dip Med, tier 6, Big Book. I don't have cab rank on there, sorry. Oh, God, big failure. I should have put cab ranks on there. 3 nice beefy collections as well. Costume, Caregiver, Musician. A potential for royalty as well. I believe royalty could be a collection, I think. I believe there are at least 10. Guys, what do we think about this card?
Princess Thalia will stay behind, guarding her little Princess Runa. Should King Ridley fall in battle, she will sing an epic song to honor him.
Like it. Oh yeah, Pet People as well. Thank you, Janos. Yes, also in the Vanity collection.
Well, I said before we came on stream, I said I'm not across Strange New Worlds, so I can't really talk much about the episode and all that. But numbers to me look pretty average. Nothing too sort of out of the world. All right, you've got some med in there, is always good, but that's less and less for most of us becoming an issue. I think a lot of us, used to have med sort of gaps, but sort of plugged that with recent crew that have come in. But big fat juicy collections. It's I think that's again everything happening. I think it's a very important part. So it'll help some people out definitely.
Gotta say the art is awesome. The art is really nice. Like, that is real good representation of the episode, The Elysian Kingdom. If anyone wasn't aware, like the episode where M'Benga gets an alien consciousness forces M'Benga to relive the entire cast of the Enterprise as though they're in some sort of fantasy novel which he was reading to his daughter. So this is how all these crew came about. And they've been divided between some people. Like, I really love this episode. I thought it was really fun. Like, a good way to see like the Star Trek cast have fun in the roles. I know some people are a bit more sort of conservative about it. It's like, well, I don't want to see these people doing this kind of thing. Or what do you guys what do you think about it?
It's a different way of doing, like you get some other Trek where you get the holodeck episode, where you get all the people doing, basically costuming up. So it's a different way of doing it. I think I've seen some mention, maybe some people thinking there might be a Vanity collection coming along, maybe, with all these crew that we've had from the episode. There's a few knocking around now. So that's something that some people like and some people don't, but...
I threw a link up in chat to some high-res art, event art for this week. So if you are a pet fan or an art fan, go check it out. It's great high-res stuff, and it's so much different than, if you're looking at your little Triscuit-sized phone. It hits different.
Tell I've got to keep talking because I'm gonna zoom in on the dog's face because the dog is hilarious. But sorry, carry on. Trav, what's your thoughts?
Well, I probably should say where they were ranked on Cab.
Please.
C+ on overall. Obviously, her strengths, shuttles, got her an A- 55, 14.4 in factions. I think she scored all right, but there's kind of 2 pet peeves I have about it, just in principle. One, it's the first Laan. And I really don't like it when the very first one that they launch is like some random weird variant, when we could get a solid version of Laan first, and then you get to play with her skills and traits and stuff based on this variant. And the other thing that just pops up to me is the costume thing. I know that's an old thing. I don't view her as costume.
I kind of know what you mean.
She's wearing what she thinks she's supposed to be. A costume is a plaything. It's like when they do undercover operatives and make them costume. That's not a costume. That's you're in disguise.
This debate we've been having for years and years. Like,
oh, I know, and it just pops. But and obviously,
I agree with you. To be fair, but yeah.
It's never gonna be any different. But costumes is one of those traits, and especially the fact that there's a collection with it. Firmly define what a costume is, and then kind of go there. She's not playing. She's mentally believes that's what she's supposed to be wearing. How the the crew came out. I think everything's right. I think the skills are right. I think the traits are all right. I think the art's great. And I love the episode. I mean, I was one that's not really overly fond of Discovery, but I really like Strange New Worlds. And this is the kind of episode I like from old Star Trek. You get the crew in different situations so that you learn a little bit about their personalities and you get some attachment to them. You know, you can't identify with a character if you don't see them in all kinds of weird how they respond in certain things. And seeing her as a character polar opposite of who she is in the show because she's under this influence kind of helps highlight who she is supposed to be. And you know, I like the episode. I like Strange New Worlds. So
in the stages of trait grief, are you at anger or bargaining? Because I think the rest of us are firmly entrenched in depression.
I'm as far as the costumed, I've already arrived at acceptance. I've given up. You know, there's at some point it's not going to get fixed, and if it does, they're based on history. They're probably going to screw it up a different way. So,
okay, a question in chat from Skycap: are Walt and Trav pet people, and if so, will their critters have a cameo on today's show?
I have 2 cats. They are locked out of the room because if I don't, they will try to take over. They have lots of opinions. Yeah, so no cat takeover today.
And there's no pets in my house, I'm afraid, Skycap.
No,
so.
not pet people. I think we're all cats.
So they average.
I'm allergic to most of them, so that's I've got pet allergies. So.
There will be a dog again one day, but not now.
Okay, let's move on. And oh no, go on. What you got?
The flavor is great. I mean, you can debate whether or not you think it should be the first variant, and in fact, they did just do that whole run of Enterprise Pike and Lieutenant Commander Spock. So they gave a bunch of them the real standard. So I'm okay with them doing it this way too. But in terms of flavor, like the art is obviously gorgeous. Check out that link I put in chat for the high-res art. You know, they nail. I feel like they do a much better job with New Trek flavor elements because they actually feels like they actually watched the episode. So, you know, stuff like art and the flavor text and the arena quote and stuff is all really good. So typically you don't get super flavorful crew that are also statistical monsters. They're trying to get everyone's money all at once, so they want to offer something to everyone. So, yeah.
Like people say, you know, Lieutenant Commander Mitchell, built for Gauntlet, she's built for collections. Like this is, especially, which we'll talk about in a bit when we talk about the big collection expansion, this is definitely targeting all the key areas that trigger dopamine in my head. And she's like, I'm not even looking at the stats. She's not going to voyage for me, but she is going to be useful. Like that's definitely like 3, you know, potentially, 13 sites saved, essentially, or something like 15 sites saved or whatever it would be. But yeah. We'll talk about collections in a minute. Let's move on to, if I can find him, one moment. Guys, you have to remind me what episode this guy's from, because I'm going to say it's Voyager, because I have no memory of him. Croden, Sectip Psi, super rare crew you can win.
You're wrong.
He
You're wrong.
Is DS9, is he? Oh
Couldn't
my
be
gosh.
more wrong.
Yeah.
Absolutely fake fan. Wow. Where was he in DS9?
He's the one with the shape-shifting key before
where he takes Odo to, he says, "Oh, come and meet your ancestors" in like early season 1, season 2.
where he was trying to find his daughter.
Oh gosh, okay, fake fan. I'm just gonna have to leave.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Decades ago.
I'll be honest. I wasn't sort of totally. He seemed familiar, and when I looked him up, I couldn't remember exactly much more about him, and I didn't really remember the episode very well. But that would have probably been, you know, my sort of time in my teenage years where I would have watched the episode, and if it was like boring in the first 10 minutes, it would have been off, and then I'd been doing something else. So, you know, I do remember the actor was the dad in Flight of the Navigator. So that was, you know, one of my favourite films when I was a kid. So that's, but I can't say much about the crew really.
Did Idle just fake fan himself so he could run to a bathroom break? Is that what just happened right here?
Well, maybe he took one for the team, yeah, but how he carried himself.
Well, I guess I'll just read the cap scores for him. He's a B plus overall for purples. He's a solid Voyager. I have the 21st ranked purple Voyager, 40th ranked faction. Decent traits. I think he's right for the character. I don't have any complaints about him, and I think if you're working with purples right now, he's going to do great for you. Not going to have, obviously no collections or anything like that. So if you're more elderly, you're going to freeze him. But I think if you're coming up and still actively using purples, he's going to be a good one.
The male Rukari resisted and fled the government that killed his wife. He tried to save his daughter, though not through the most honest of means.
I'm going to say that's a Memory Alpha quote.
Maybe.
Okay.
Haven't.
Let me
I like
check.
that he has coffee.
This art is vomitously bad. It's horrendous.
Well,
And
so
it
is the
made-
makeup. So
Well, yeah, but, they've worked with that before and still done.
Okay, it's
Like,
not Memory
especially the
Alpha.
headshot on this guy is really bad. It made me go look up this game I used to play as a kid, Operation Neptune, where you played a little submarine and shot ink pellets at the enemy, and it's like his face reminds me of the graphics from this. There's this 1991 game because they are very blocky and it's not good. And
Let me bring up this.
All I'll say is if they don't change the mechanics big style for Fleet Boss battles again, there'll be a Rukari node somewhere, won't there? That you need to hit them before. So we
Well, at
seem to be
least you
getting
don't-
quite a few of those types of crew coming through.
It does have a kind of monkey art. No, what was no Broken Sword? What was the there was
stars
like
would know this, God rest his soul.
dearly beloved. There lies a brave man. No collections for a super rare in this day and age. Like that's just why. But I could see Prisoner, maybe Scoundrel being a collection.
Prisoner, Scoundrel, Duelist, Crafty should all hit eventually.
Yeah.
but that'll be 2, and that's still nothing. So
Well, if they keep expanding them, which we'll get to shortly,
we
then
will.
you're going to kind of want everyone, especially the lower rarity crew.
Well, anyway, enough of this guy because who cares? Get him? Fantastic. Good for you. You should feel happy about yourself. What about something so much more kick-ass awesome? The USS Thunderchild, a Kira-class starship, is coming to the game. If you, like me, are a Star Trek First Contact fan and you fell in love with this ship as soon as you saw it, which I did, I am so happy this is now in the game because it's been too damn long, and I actually forgot we didn't have an Akira class because when you're scrolling through the Voyage screen, tapping it 45 fucking times to get to your Voyage ship, you don't really pay attention to what ships you have or have not accrued. But we do have the Akira class coming in the next skirmish, which is this weekend. Just me, the Akira class fan? Trav, you got to deal with me here. Are you a Starship guy or not? Because like these guys are not.
I don't care about starships.
God damn it!
So the art's beautiful, but I can't think of the last ship that came out that I actually use. It sits there. I accumulate it. There's no reason to buy schematic packs because you'll have to spend an ungodly amount of money to level it up, and they're never useful enough to do that for. And I had a whole bunch of honor to burn. The closest I came was getting the Bortus, and that was a mistake. I never used that thing. They're nice. I just can't get excited about it with the current way that it takes forever to select them. You don't use any of them. I was really happy when they stopped coming out with them.
How about in the terms of just genuine Star Trek? Star Trek, do you like the look of starships, and are you a starship guy, or are you like, because speaking to Auto and Big, they're just like, we don't really care about the starships, we like the stories and things like that.
I like the looks. I usually will have an opinion, and I think that that's a good looking ship. The Federation ones usually are okay looking. Even when they just slap the saucer in the different place, for some reason it looks okay. But that's a good looking ship.
Oh, let me
It's
tell you
not
about
like
Star
that.
Trek Online. That's all about putting saucers in different places.
This 24th century Akira-class ship incorporates a multitude of technical systems, mainly focused on battle scenarios. In the wrong hands, it could be a deadly weapon. I actually do like this ship because it's in Armada 1, the video game.
It is, yes.
And it has this like homing, tracking ricocheting torpedo ability, which is kind of cool. So,
And if you want to see me playing Armada 1 with Auto and Stars heckling me from the sidelines, that's all on the YouTube as well. I forgot what I was going to say. No. Well,
Yeah, I think if you know if it's the main ship in the series or whatever, you know, and you get plenty of shots of it, I think, you know, people do fall a bit in love with them. They do like them. They, you know, people, you know, we've had discussions about which is the best Enterprise. You know, the 1701 or the A or the D. Obviously, we didn't really see much of the B and the C, but you know, and then and even then, it's like, yeah, and then even like, you know, people discussing the merits of like, you know, the Defiant and the Voyager and stuff like that. But we used to see in Next Generation, you know, we used to get lots of shots of the Deredex Warbirds, didn't we? And so, you know, you always look at them, sort of eyeing them up, because, you know, to be fair, they're probably the Romulan ship design is probably my favourite for across the fleet. You know,
I think it was when we played
aesthetics.
Star Trek Legends, and yeah, so game, but they had a really good way of doing camera pans around ships when they were doing cutscenes, and they did this really, really nice pan of a D-Deredex starship, and made me kind of go, actually, yeah, that's a really good look. I really like the D-Deredex designs. They're really nice.
Oh, of course, you know, they didn't actually have any sublight engines on the Deredex. They've got to add them on, so wouldn't have worked. Terrible.
Oh dear. Powered by a black hole. Who'd have thunk it? Anyway, that ship's coming in. Probably useless for most people unless they do a random objective event that requires the Thunderchild. Maybe. What would you think? It would be like a first contact event, wouldn't it? I don't think the Akira's been seen anywhere else yet. Maybe in one of the more recent series. I think it was in Picard recently, maybe.
In the back of a battle somewhere, maybe. But,
yeah. Flying through at warp speed. Okay. Guys, there has been the monster of all collection expansions. This is Auto's reaction is everything for this. Like, we posited this idea before.
sorry,
like,
Podcast viewers.
Yeah, yes. I think it was about a year and a half ago, maybe it might have been 2 years, where they did the first collection expansion where they expanded things like Diplomat, Veteran. I think it went up to like 40s and 20s, and then ever since
It was
then.
April of 2021.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, did the first big collection expansion, and everyone went, "Oh my god, this is too much." Then they've been sort of drip feeding a lot of other collections whilst also expanding them well beyond the threshold. And now we've had, I think I will quite gladly say, the biggest collection expansion of all time. There are huge amounts of extra tiers in pretty much every collection, bar a few that don't quite qualify. My question to you guys, also to the community as well, guys in chat, weigh in on this. Do you find this, because collections are a big part of the game, mainly for the stat boost, which is kind of what everyone cares about. Whether you like going for them or not, they are kind of there with things like Gauntlet and events. You kind of have to go for them or factor them in your retrieves or your event participation. What I was going to ask you guys, do you find this an overwhelming change over the drip feed of, say, new collections, or do you think this is sort of like much needed to give yourself some new goals? Anyone at all? Trav, go.
I kind of go both ways. On the one hand, I don't mind it so much. I'm not excited about it. It's kind of a symptom of a larger thing to me. It's like, I think sometimes they're a little unimaginative when it comes to, you know, giving traits to people, and you've got a collection with hundreds and hundreds of, you know, well, not hundreds and hundreds at this point, but, you know, 100 plus crew. How is a newer player going to get caught up there? But then again, the way they keep pumping out crew, they'll get there eventually. I don't know. I'm agnostic. I don't get excited, but I don't really
How
care.
long did you have to spend clicking buttons in the cryostasis vault with your massive roster? I imagine that took you about half an hour to kind of collect all the rewards.
It was one of those I checked in the morning because, you know, for me that stuff happens, you know, 9 in the morning, and usually you know, I get on real quick just to take a look, and I started and then I stopped and had to do it a different session because I wasn't quite prepared. It was a lot. It was quite a bit. But yeah, now they're all cleared again.
Poll up in chat, folks. Let us know what you think about this. If you love it, if you hate it, somewhere in between. Ben has said several times that collections are one of the easier things for them to manage. So that's more reliable content drip for them without taking big dev time away from obviously new features like, Celestial Market or Fleet Boss Battle.
How about you, Walt? Well, where do you stand with it?
Yeah, so the expansion, I didn't automatically get any boosts straight away. Now obviously I've got a load of new goals to work on. There's some of the collections I've just recently hit that previous final tier, and now I've got another 10-20 crew to get through. There's some collections I'm not that far off. I'm a couple off Gambler, Cardassian and Borg. I think I'm not that far off. I'm all for it. Yeah, I'm happy. I'd also be happy to see more vanity collections. I think we talked before about things like Far Beyond the Stars collection. We just touched on there whether we might get an Elysian Kingdom collection. Those sort of things. I'm all for those. I think I just need Age of Sail Wharf to finish for that Age of Sail collection. A couple of stars there, and I'll get a nice new avatar. And I was like, no, I kind of actually want that avatar. I've got my avatar in game at the minute. It's the Chaotica one. What's the name of the bloody collection?
Bride of Chaotica.
Captain Proton. Yeah, Bride of Chaotica. That's right. Bride of Chaotica collection. Yeah. So I've got the rocket ship as the avatar. So that's my avatar in game at the minute. And so I'm like, I might change to the hat. If I get that. So, and to me that shows something more as actual in-game achievement than campaign avatars you get. Well, get a new avatar for buying a campaign. Great, buy the campaign. I don't have a problem with that. I buy the campaign myself. But the avatar from that, it's just a shiny thing to say I paid money. But yeah, give me more vanities. I'm happy for them. I'd like to see a few more of them.
I like the vanity collections. I just get frustrated every time I have to manually enter animated on a new crew when I'm scoring it. I like the small vanity collections. Those are fun for me.
All right, I set the poll for 10 minutes, so we got to kill some time. I'm going to read comments in chat as solicited by Captain Idle. Much needed. Make Ferengi and Romulan and Q Continuum great again. Dude, Ferengi has become one of the most underappreciated traits in the game. I think we've been asking for that mega forever. They printed a lot of bad ones, like when FCA Brunt is like your superstar. What does that say about your entire race? And then that the collection was super easy to complete. Now it's not, so I do appreciate that. I didn't even know they expanded them until now. That's why Timelines Talks is your #1 news source for all things Star Trek Timelines. Collection update is much needed. I kept track of collections that are due for an update so I can retrieve based on those when I have other collections completed. Yeah, I know myself and several other elder players who can't speak retrieve pretty much solely based on collections. I wasn't super pleased they sprung the expansion on us without prior knowledge. I just did a retrieval the evening before and definitely would have changed my strategy had I known in a general way this was happening soon. Good news, in 19 days you can retrieve again any crew you want. So.
Did they they haven't actually announced that it happened, have they? It
just they didn't even put it in one of their server announcements.
They just went,
there were 2 in-game announcements that day.
Yeah,
one was a correction. One was a correction on their previous one. No announcement. It's like, I was thinking, I didn't dream it, did I? It's happened. I was expecting. I was like, we've updated it. They've put it in there. No, they haven't put it in there. So.
I kind of miss being able to complain about there being no Klingon collection.
And Mirror too. That was another.
Klingon and Mirror were the big debated ones, weren't they? Everyone was gagging for them, and now it's just like, they're there now. Now we're here for athlete. Where's the athlete collection? Where's my pilots at?
I still want Undercover Operative, and I still want Bajoran.
I want crew that have only been in one scene of a show, like White Rabbit, or...
Yeah, but they're going to be all golds, so why would you want that?
Yeah.
Furry collection.
We need a Hirogen collection. They can start at 1 and expand it to 2 and then 3. That's an excellent idea.
Yeah, have some balls, WRG. Give us a 1 collection crew. They'll get to the end.
They should do something. Should do something really oddball, shouldn't they? They should do like the Jeffrey Combs collection or something
pointing.
Like that. They've got to,
there are so many pointing groups. Sorry, that's my hill I will die on.
And again, I know why they do some collection and.
So something I absolutely love from BigBook.app. Yeah, I got the plugin. And it has nothing to do with me, because it's the brainchild
Oh, of course.
No Name Namer.
Nothing about Big Book has anything to do with you.
No. This was all
Okay.
No Name Namer's work. Who's
okay.
much
Just take the
smarter than I am.
profits.
They have the we have the potential collection. So it's set at a certain size threshold, and we set it. Okay, if there's 10 crew or more, then it can be a potential. Like if it's 3 crew, they're probably not going to do it. So we set that, and then Orion, as soon as they hit 10, as soon as they released 10, they made it a collection. I think they did it like with 1 or 2 other, like Primal, I think was the other one. So it's like, I think 10 is probably internally, that's like their threshold. Okay, when it hits double digits, maybe we can make it a collection.
So what's on 8 or 9 then, Auto? What are we on? What's the next hot proper?
I got it.
I feel like I should know that, but I don't. I've never actually looked at that.
I do an outdated version of traits by number. Okay, hold on. 8 and 9.
I say I still wouldn't mind things like we talked about having like the series collections or
Oh,
the movie
yeah,
collections.
Killing Game. I mean,
you
there's
know,
loads in
on-
First Contact.
yeah,
loads of
yeah,
First Contact
exactly.
Crew,
You know,
Nemesis as well.
You know if I'll plug you now then, Idol. You know on your C- sheet you've got
Oh,
some
fun
collections that aren't real collections.
Yeah, I need to update
And you
that,
had
actually.
you had a Ryan on there before Ryan was a collection. It was
I did. I had
It's not easy being green, isn't it?
Yes, yeah, that's right. It ain't easy being green. Yeah, that's fun to make. I know I did spend a while putting every card into its episode, and yeah, I wish I hadn't have done that because now I have to update it. It's a pain in the ass. But
We appreciate it.
oh, thank you.
It's good.
Thank you. I'm
It's-
glad someone has some fun with that. I love the
I
collection
believe-
expansion. I think with like Corto, like I love long-term goals. I love because I was starting to get to the end, not the end, but kind of wrapping up. Where I was like, right, the only collection I've got are the big ones like Physician or like Cultural Figure or things like that. It's like, right, that's all Musician as well. It's like right, I don't really slog through these long collections, but now they did the collection expansion. I'm thinking, right, well, if I get Martian Cork, that's 5 collections in one go, and then I can start hitting. It gave me a whole load of new goalposts, which in a game where you need targets is. That's my goalpost. That's how I play the game. But for everyone else, it does differ.
So at 9 crew, we have Talaxian, Section 31, and Augments, which Marlon MacGyver's should probably have Augments, because that's separate from Engineered. Augments is like
Yes, the race,
Khan's
not the-
group.
Yeah.
And we also just hit 10 with Clone, with Dupler Emissary.
Oh,
and I
wow.
believe they added it recently to
Clone.
Abe Lincoln,
Who else
so
is
we
a
could
clone?
maybe see Clone.
Apart from Shinzon.
Kalis,
From
Yelgren,
Vorta? How about from
Kilano,
Vorta?
So yeah, Wayuns, yeah.
Wayun, Abe
Wayun.
Lincoln.
There'll be
and
another
Shinzo.
Section 31 too with the Boimler,
Yeah.
for sure.
Oh, cool. Lower deck spoilers,
yeah.
but yeah.
I mean, Talaxian's just gonna be all Neelix and Dexa, isn't it? Surely.
Yeah,
It's-
9 Neelixes and 1 Dex are
Two
like
Dex.
the worst Talaxian porn parody you've ever
Yeah,
seen.
so I'd be surprised if they did Talaxian, but yeah, Section 31 and Augments have got to be.
Well, it's the same with Kelpian. I think there's like a dozen Kelpians, but they're mostly Saru.
Your favourite Serrano.
Oops, all Sarus. He's never going to let you live that down, is he?
You're demodded. All right, let's move on.
Let's talk about some more crew. Let me press some buttons here. Sorry, this takes me longer. I need to fix this bloody thing. Where are we? This one, then this button here. Right, let's move on to... speaking of hiding in the shadows and maybe paying the artist... I hope they paid the artist in full for this account. Sealer in Shadow. Basically, it's the outline of Sealer, but Command Eng Dip, you can win her next week in... what's the event type? Sorry, we've got Skirmish this week. Is it Galaxy?
Yeah, who cares?
Okay, fair enough. Voyage rank number 30. Top-rated Romulan, but only in the Romulan collection, no other ones. How do you feel about this art? It does kind of just feel like Sealer in Shadow is just... I don't know. It's a weird pull.
This shadowy figure is the daughter of an alternate timeline, Tasha Yar, and is sent to drive a wedge between the UFP and the Klingon. She's a Galaxy reward, by the way.
Thank you.
It's different. It's something
It's
a bit
okay.
different. It's not just her standing square on staring at the camera. So it's better than that. It's something a bit more different.
Like, I get the scene. The scene is from the one with Spock. What's it called? Shit, brain failed. me.
Reunification.
Unification. Thank you. Where she then
Part
reveals
one.
herself.
Part one.
Yeah, she reveals herself right at the end of the episode, and you're going, "Oh my god, it's Tasha Yar!" And like, I get
Yeah,
the moment, but I feel like as a card, it's a bit of a like, are we pulling just random scenes from various crew? Are we going to get Seela being duped by holographic Riker? Are we going to get Tasha surprised at Data? You know, like how many reactions to various events can crew show? It's a bit of a weird one for me.
Yeah, I mean, Seela doesn't, do vast amounts, in her appearances. There's not really a lot of dynamic going on with that character. It's I think the original Seela was probably in since the game started, so just change for a variant. And my memory of that episode, it's sort of at the end you just had the reveal, and it's almost like but here I am, and she gives it the full hamming up the villain. It's like, God, who wrote that line? It's like I don't think it's necessarily the greatest bit of script writing, but yeah, it's. I think I say art wise, I don't hate it. There's certainly worse art.
I hope the artist got paid in full. That's all I'll say. That's like, well, you're only giving us like 1/4 of the art. Like, what are you doing?
He might, he said, well, I'll leave me initiative.
I don't know. The art's fine. They just put a shadow on Photoshop, and that's kind of, I get what they're going for there. I don't get the engineering, honestly. Just thinking back, it seems like they're trying to make it different than, Commander.
Yeah.
But thinking about when that happened, what did she do that was engineering? I would think higher security maybe. But
she turned down the lights. She knew how to work the Philips Hue system in her house.
Yeah, she did work the lights and move forward. But it's an okay card. I mean, obviously people are going to use it for voyages, and even shuttles. A+ Voyager for cab, but it's
so Romulan Voyagers. Like we've had. I was looking it up earlier. I looked on both systems, so just to check that we're both all in agreement between the Big Book and Cab.
Yes, but which was your favorite?
We've had.
No, go.
Like my children, I have no favorite. We've had the top three. We've had the top three Voyagers, Romulan Voyagers, all this year. We've had Seela. We're getting Seela. We had Kalankai Elnor and Security Laris.
Yeah.
Both of those two are Command DipSec, so you're probably right. They probably went, I know just not make a Command DipSec because although it's the right skill set for her.
I would say more sec than dip for her, or maybe. Yeah. It makes more sense for her.
So
I can appreciate why.
She should be, but she isn't.
I can appreciate why they don't want to do more Command DipSec because we moan like hell every time they do. But there are some crew where it kind of makes sense and we hate it, but it kills their utility. Whereas giving her Command Eng at Voyage level 30 does give her a hell of a lot of utility. So especially with the Romulan.
So we've had those three this year, and then like it's an aching void till like the next couple, like Narek and Commodore O. There's nothing. There's like a huge gap. So
okay. So, first of all, you're all fake fans because she's not from Reunification. She's from Redemption. That's where we find out that the Romulans are actually helping Duras and the Klingon Civil War and everything. So the engineering, I think, kind of fits because in that episode, if you remember, you have acting Captain Data. And he acts on a hunch because they've neutralized this detection net and he has to, I don't know, some Polaron beam or whatever.
Net,
Yeah, so they're kind of out strategizing each other, and she does direct her first officer, whatever, to disable them here, and we'll attack them there. So there's a little bit of strategy there. There's some cloak trickery stuff going on. So I think that's fine as a tertiary. And I actually really love this art because how many times do we get a guy just standing there? It's different. It's going to pop out on your screen compared to everyone else. It's not Croden, which is A+, just for that alone. So, and I love Denise Crosby. So I really, really like this card all around.
You've missed something, Otto.
Hold on, Tabs up.
Favorite hit.
This shadowy figure is the daughter of an alternate timeline.
Oh, no, wait, no, you have read this.
No, I don't read that. I didn't forget nothing. Not a thing.
No, I forgot.
How many good Andorians are there anyway? What are you talking about?
I like how both of us combined forgot there, and these guys were just going to let us get away with it. Yeah.
At least it's not Archer in the Shadow.
Yeah, exactly. I think, what was it? Jenna said something similar earlier. It's just like, if you turn the brightness up, it turns into Archer. Yeah. Is this a Yar variant? Should this be a Yar variant? Yeah, I am intrigued. I think it's nice to have like the options for top four. I mean, just looking over stats, like she is second to Agamus in the skill set, so she's pretty beefy. She's going to be usable for quite a while, and specifically, she's an upgrade from Wonderland Tilly, who was never that great to begin with. So this is a good card. Like, this is a good card to grab if you're eventing for it. So
a lot of fun traits, a lot of loaded potential there for events, collections, even if she's not all the way there yet. I mean,
avoidable traits as well, like villain, tactician, Romulan.
Yeah, what are the odds we get like a villain mega that's really easy thematically, and they have so many crew they could draw on? So
been waiting for it for so long. I mean, even Stars mocked up a hero and villain. Timeline Talks originals. On its way.
Also,
okay.
her ship ability is on a cloak trigger. Like, it's
That's
obvious
cool.
that they should have done that, but they actually nailed it. So thank you for that.
Let's talk about a bit of an oddity. We have spoken about this next crew before, back when she was a Tuesday pack, but in an absolute first for WRG, we are now being introduced to a former Tuesday pack being offered as a threshold reward, which means if you get to 130k excuse me, VP points in an event, you will get this crew. So previous Tuesday, still not in Portal, part of the pet collection, and I believe that's it. Now being offered in the event. This is a new move. Kayla Tirana, for Puffcast listeners, Dipsec Med, was previously in the Tuesday pack about 4 months ago. Wasn't that long ago. Sorry?
I think it was longer than that, wasn't it?
Was it? Okay, yeah, probably.
It was March 1st.
God, what is time?
So 8 months.
Yeah.
8 months.
Okay, yeah, well.
Kayla was a Tandaran, disguised as a different species with unclear motives, who try to get close to Archer and question him about the Cabal. So this is Day Young is the actress. Her sister plays Ezri's mom in an episode of DS9, and Day herself plays a couple different. She plays with Odo in an episode. There's another. She's sort of the damsel in distress when they need one. So yeah, another great artwork. And she actually debuted as a #1 Voyager, which, new players shouldn't be diving into six packs. No one should be diving into six packs, but especially new players. So like her strengths being Voyage and shuttles, that's a great pickup for events. So her being in an event is going to be nice. You don't want to spend however many thousands of dilithium that would be to get her from a six pack instead. So I'm glad to see her around, and it has been 8 months, so not.
Yeah, so she would make the next Portal update, which should be in the next few months or so. But I wonder how you guys feel about this. Like, they've done flashback crew and rerun crew. They've repeated crew before to save resources. Fine, I've got nothing against. Like we've previously said before, if they want to run a month's worth of megas to sort of catch up on downtime, absolutely, let's do it. But this is the first time they put a former Tuesday pack in an event whilst they're not in the Portal. So how do you guys feel about that?
Well, they have done it several times with golds at least. And I want to say maybe Safe Cracker Nog they did as well while he was still out of the
was a
Portal.
campaign, I think. Was he?
I think he was.
Oh, no, you might be right. No, but I think he was the ranked reward, not the threshold.
I like it.
Yeah.
I think it's great to make
Thank
crew
you for answering
available.
my question. You're my favourite now.
I don't like how long it takes to put things in the portal. I obviously I buy Tuesday packs, but I don't care if I get it. I know
the exception that proves the rule.
But I think if they a week later put it out there, I'd be happy with it. I think the quicker that they make crew available to everybody, the better. And she's a good crew, especially for, mid gamers who need a solid purple in any area. I think she's great. Heck, she even is useful in fleet boss battles, trait wise. So I like it.
I always need a solid purple in any area. Anyway.
Unsubscribe.
Minus 10 viewers. Let's move on.
Move on. Okay, actually, move on. All right, we're talking about current one. Okay, so the other interesting little anomaly as well is there is a gold available in packs, but it is quite
About this long, this thick.
Thank you.
That's why you're a mod, Cranky. All right.
Yeah.
Wow, look at him try.
It carries on. Camping Archer and Porthos, or Portho as the text has been cut off on here, is going to be in the packs this week. Was it this week or is it next week? It might be this week. But not in the event itself. But he is an event bonus, so archers do count. This is not the first time they've done this. I've seen a lot of confused people saying, like, well, hang on, if he's there, why is he not, like, the 400k or whatever it's like they usually do? Well, they did this previously with Mycelial Culber and Riker Odan. When it was Riker Odan's event, they put Mycelial Culber to dilute the portal pack for... so you wouldn't get a, say, like Princess Thalia as well. But
They do it semi regularly now,
Yeah.
including Azid Burr. Someone recently, I think, had an extra gold in there. So
that being said,
Yeah, Jellicoe. Yeah.
yes. That being said, Camping Archer and Porthos, formerly #1 Voyager, now number 10, which goes to show how fast this has moved over the last, like, 6
I think like
months.
#1 for like a week or something.
Pretty
It was, like,
much, yeah. He
ridiculous.
wasn't up there long. But this crew, is it worth investing in this crew this day and age? Bearing in mind, we've had a deluge of Command Dip, Command Psi, Command Sec coming in from every direction. Is it worth
Archer
pulling on a
takes
pack?
Porthos on a research mission to a Class M planet later known as Archer 4. So, in terms of skill order and antimatter seats, and I know that's a little bit fidgety, specific for some people. They just want, hey, big power. I like them. But in terms of skill order and trait coverage, the two people that outperform him on certain seats, Human, Starfleet, and Communicator, are Lieutenant Commander Spock, who was an event crew more recently, Pathfinder Uhura, who was a giveaway crew, 4 or 5. So, yeah, I wouldn't say he's redundant yet. Top 10 name by raw score is certainly worth going after. He's got 6 antimatter traits. He's got a good enough base. You're going to use him for years when he gets events. So, I would even argue he's like an upgrade if you're putting him into an event pack. So, I think he's fine.
He's certainly not terrible, is he?
No, no.
Like you say, most of us, have got Spock and Uhura. So, is he going to voyage a lot for you? Possibly not. But he's got 3 collections, including.
He's got a dog.
pet
Look at the
people.
doggy. We've got like 3 doggies in the pack.
Yeah. So he's in the pet collection, which isn't an easy collection. If if you want that data on the spot. And the other collections now have been expanded. Again, he's going to tick some boxes. He might get a couple of voyages, but
He doesn't voyage as much for me as he used to already. Very rarely do I get him on there. He's obviously a really strong crew, and I think he's going to be useful to a lot of majority of players who might not have him yet. But I think he's declining quickly.
That is the problem
like
of having a
it's like
common
Auto
skill
said, it's
set.
that skill order. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's that
yeah.
skill order.
Potential collections, I think, are good. He's got that pilot on there. They ever do that, and I don't know. He's good. I wouldn't sneeze at him, but I wouldn't go crazy to chase him right now if I was just looking for a utility player.
So in his episode, which is, I think, early season 1 Enterprise.
Actually, the
that's,
episode called Strange New Worlds.
Yeah, one of the, I think, Kelly Waymeyer episodes, an actress who passed somewhat earlier than she should have. Anyways, that's the episode where some spore comes, messes with their brain, and they all get paranoid thinking there's like rock people attacking
Oh,
them.
yeah, that's right, yeah.
So, camping Archer in Porthos, at the beginning of this episode, he flies down in a shuttlecraft with it, runs around in a nice, lush field with Porthos for about 20 minutes, and then flies back to the ship. And they gave him the survivalist. Like, he didn't actually camp. He didn't set up a tent. He ran around in a flowery meadow with,
lovely.
with Porthos and then went back to the ship, and he's a survivalist. That's maybe a little bit of a stretch.
He probably had to take some poop bags with him, and make sure he keep the grass clean. So
packed it in, packed it out.
Man, that is like a definition of like biological contaminants. Do you think he bagged it up and took it back to the ship, or do you think he just like sort of just went, "Is there a bin around here for this?" No, all right, fine.
He got the phaser out and zapped it off into oblivion. That was it.
So, yeah, he misses his droppings, and 4 billion years later, like an entire race has evolved from
the
Porthos's droppings.
Porthonians worship their god, the archer.
A poop question, sir?
Well done, Cranky. You're fucking on it.
Yes, I'm gonna remod you those.
You've redeemed yourself. Overall opinion, though, yeah, don't dive in this pack if you want. I think is it Thalia's pack? He's in this for. I don't know. Or he will be in for Thalia and Kayla. Maybe if you're gonna dive in it, you get him. Great. There are better crew you may have already got, like people say, like Uhura. Walt, you have a few November birthdays for us that could very well warrant a pack.
Excellent portmanteau.
I do. So I was having a bit of a look. I did last time when I came. Well, not last time. A couple of times before I came on and got some Star Trek alumni birthdays. So I've had a look and I've got a few for November. So play along in chat if you're not going to cheat. So no googling, everybody. But
yeah. Memory Alpha, November 2022.
So there's I've got we'll go with so they're all birthdays in November. They're all milestone birthdays. So they're not including people like Robert Duncan McNeil, who
Yeah, fuck that
whatever
guy.
age he is. So if you want to have a guess, then Trav's gone, so he doesn't want to play.
This show sucks. I'm out of here.
Yeah, Walt's doing his bit. I'm going. That's what his bit. So 6th of November, we've got a birthday on the 6th of November. So start your guesses.
Well, you got to give us some kind of lead off.
Yeah, it's got to be a clue.
Right?
So it'll be a main cast crew in a current series.
Is it
So
Travis
Romeo
Mayweather?
plot employed to start a war.
In a current series.
Oh, in the current series. Is it?
Is it Patrick Stewart?
Well, actually, that's all the TNG crew because they're coming back for season 3, so we can just say
That's true.
Marina Sirtis. No, go on, just tell us.
It's going to be right gender with Marina Sirtis.
So it's a Betazoid. Okay?
Oh, no, right gender. I said not right race. No guesses?
Is it Christina Chong?
Oh, is it Christina Chong?
What are you snorting at? It's a female from a current series.
No,
what do you want from me?
I was actually clearing my throat a little bit. I apologise.
Well, chat
You
asks
gotta
us
tell
if
us.
Kate Mulgrew. Yeah, you got to tell us yes or no. For guess.
Oh no, it's not Mulgrew. No.
I'm gonna have to. No, you just have to tell us. Come on, Walt, spit it out.
Strange New Worlds. Come on, Strange New Worlds.
Is it
Una Thurman?
Celia Gooding Jr.?
Oh.
No. Is it?
Kate Bush.
Is
Kate
it
Bush.
David Bowie?
It's Rebecca Romaine.
Ah.
Rebecca Romaine will be 50 years young.
Will she really?
Yeah.
Wow. That's
on
crazy.
the 6th of November. Oh, there, Cranky got it. Just
Yeah.
as I said it.
Well, he's on a delay, so.
Yeah, probably on a bit of a delay there. So well done, Cranky. 7th of November. Another birthday. Someone younger than Rebecca Romaine.
Is it Christina Chong?
That's what I was
not-
going
not-
to guess.
Not a current series.
Not a current series. Is it Gates
Sorry,
McFadden?
it's a series that's currently showing, but they're not currently in it.
Denise Crosby.
Currently showing, but they're
That's a
not
good
in
guess.
it.
Yeah, I say
Oh, so a TNG crew maybe?
Is it
Picard is
Will
currently
Wheaton?
showing, but they're not in it.
no, not TNG.
Not TNG, but currently showing, but they're not in it. Oh, is it
Trav, we are
Bruce Horak?
Hold on. We're steamrolling Trav. You got to throw a few guesses in here. Liven things up.
Oh, not Bruce Horlock.
Okay. Is it? No, I can't think. Who? Current series that's airing, but they're not in it. That's
the
weird.
current series in that we're between seasons.
Oh. Is it the guy that played Ash Tyler?
Right series.
Okay, so it's Discovery. Oh, is it Mary Wiseman?
Nope.
No.
First name.
Welcome to Idle Guess's birthday.
Guys, help me here. Come on. Someone in Discovery that is not in it anymore. Hey, Jason Isaacs.
No, was in series 1 though.
Oh. It was Laurel's
Wow,
actress.
look at him try.
The dude that played Takuvma.
You got it. Laurel's actress, Mary Chieffo.
Mary Chieffo, there we go.
He's
He bloody
30.
useless.
He's gonna be 30 on the
Help me
7th.
here.
So.
My only guess was Clem Fandango.
Shut the fuck up, Clem Fandango.
Um,
Toast of London
the
fan,
thing is,
I like you more.
I think everyone's bored with this, so we'll do one more.
All right.
You can have.
Can I use Google?
That's okay. I've got another
AOB.
game after this, so it's
Okay.
gonna be good.
It'll be. Which one do you want?
C.
Go on, A or B, go on.
A.
Okay, yep. Okay, so 12th of November.
Right.
Older than both Rebecca Romaine and Mary Chieffo.
Is it Patrick Stewart?
Nope. Older than Patrick Stewart.
Who looks like a November child?
I think they're a Scorpio. They would act in a race. Is it a currently running series? It's not a currently running series.
You didn't see a lot of their normal face.
Is it Jeffrey Combs?
Nope. Overlap with series there, so yeah.
Wallace Shawn.
DS9 character.
Michael Dorn. DS9 character. Wouldn't be no, it can't be a birthday if they're dead. They're not dead, are they? It's not Rene Auberjonois. No, right.
Mark
I
Alimo.
think they're still with us.
Mark Alimo. Oh, chat's getting involved. Casey Biggs, Andrew Robinson.
It's not Casey Biggs or Andrew Robertson. Yeah, not the correct race.
Okay, not Kardashian then.
They're not a Kardashian.
J.G. Hertzler.
Armin Shimmerman.
Shimmerman is close.
Wallace
Whoa.
Shawn.
It's not Wallace Shawn. He does have a birthday coming
Max
up.
Grodenchik.
Yeah, him.
Max Grodenchik, yes,
Yeah.
will be 70 years young on the.
Suck it, chat. We got it.
How old? Sorry, 70.
Be 70. He's going to be
Holy
70 on the
shit,
12th of
really?
November.
Wow.
Dude, DS9 was a long time ago.
Sharp, don't want. No, but he was old then. He must have been in his late 40s then, maybe.
So he would have been in his 40s then, yeah.
Wow, I thought he was younger than that. That's crazy. They got getting back.
The other birthdays.
Go on.
The other birthdays that we haven't done will be Tiny Ron, the actor Tiny Ron, who played Mayhew and one of the Hirogen. He will be 75 on the 21st of November.
Wow.
And Dwight Schultz, everybody's favourite campaign card, he'll be 75 as well on the 24th. So.
They say time is the fire in which we burn.
Happy birthday to all those people.
Yeah, indeed. Okay, let's talk about. Well, we've
Well,
talked
hold
enough. We've talked and. All right, go on.
I've got another game before we move on. This one is for Trav, because we occasionally play Guess the Tier around here,
Wow.
since we're all Big Book fans. So I have a Guess the Cab Score game for Trav.
Nice.
And keep in mind he uses decimal places, so this is going to be fun. Can you guess to 1/100th or 1/10 of a point the cab score for Merryman Crusher? You can't look it up.
Are you talking to me?
No, I'm talking to you, Trev.
You talking to me? And you talking to
You
me?
wrote the thing, right? You must have all 1,200 memorized. And
I would
they're all
think-
Gold Crew to make it easy.
Shoot, yeah. If I had to do it cold, I have no idea. Probably what, 13.4?
Close, 12.4. You got the
Oh,
decimal
got the point.
place right.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll give you half a point for that one.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. In
There's
honor of
1,000
the
plus crew. It's a little tough to remember them all.
In honor of the upcoming campaign, T'Pring, the 2-skill variant.
Two skill to print.
9.2.
10.1 or something.
Oh, Walt is closer. 11.3. Apparently, that big base is helping her out. Okay, one more before we move on. Esteemed Tom Paris. Keep in mind, he is esteemed.
14.7.
Oh, remarkably close. 14.8.
Okay, he's pretty recent, so
Yeah, there you go. You did okay. You did better on that than we do on the Guess the Tier game. So
Yeah, but to be fair, I throw you off by pulling you. I say like big book scores from 2019. And you just kind of go, oh, fuck. Well, you know, never mind that bollocks. Let's talk about Wizard Pollux. This is the last week's.
that's your best one in a while, Idle. I'll give you that.
Thank you. Last week's Tuesday pack, the Spock that was also from the Elysian Kingdom, Super Rare Dip Edge Psi Vulcan costume. Guys, did you? Well, we know Traveling Man. Did you guys dive in for another Spock? Bearing in mind, Spock's always event. What do we think?
I did not dive in.
You did not dive in. I did. I got one.
Oh.
Auto.
I got burnt on Terrell, and I didn't. I tried to get him and didn't. And I was MP after that.
he's a good purple. I can't imagine somebody not using him right now, especially, he's not a standard skill set. He's got the engineering in there, which will be helpful. He's just generally decent.
Yes, per chat's registered complaint, we will be returning to our regularly scheduled time next week or whenever the next show is. We have a 1 week lag time with the different continents and their time changes. Pollux the Wizard, brother of Castor. Maybe Spock is another victim of the fantasy illusion from the Kingdom of Elysian. But my God, look at that hair!
That's a weird flavor. That is the most outrageous one yet.
It's the flavor of someone that actually watched the episode and wants to have a little bit of fun with it.
Oh yeah, that one was sneaked past the censors. It's like we just want to play it. I like the art. The art's cool. Again, I think all these Elysian Kingdom arts have just been really good so far. Like they put the A game on for this one. The good artist was on this one.
Strange New Worlds is known for hair, so
yes, lots of powerful hair. Absolutely. Again, it's a Tuesday. You can wait for a Spock or not. I think like many others, I have a feeling they might do an Elysian Kingdom vanity. I think they're releasing enough cards to justify it, so I think that this might be the one Crux one. I pulled on it because I was like, there's going to be the one Crux one from that collection that I might be missing. So,
So yeah, like Trav said, good stats overall. Top 3 Voyager by raw score. It's got, let's say, better than average skill set. A Spock, so he's got like 1 million. What's his event count? 35 events.
It's ridiculous.
He's gonna get a handful every year. So yeah, use them now or use them later. Even if you freeze them, I'm sure he'll come out.
Yep. Okay, one Tuesday to the next. Let's go on to a recent animated endeavor. Previous Total Recall aficionado, Captain Sonia Gomez. Oh, it's all over me, Ensign. Command Dip Eng from her Lower Decks appearance in I believe it's the season 2 finale, or one of the latest season 2 episodes. Yeah, she's now this week's Tuesday Gold, which is a bit harder to get, but communicate, resourceful, inspiring. Not too great at Voyager, like real low hundreds, 172, with a fairly common-ish skill set. There we go. Thank you, Cranky.
It's all over you.
Yes, Ensign, it's all over me.
Being an attentive and insightful captain, Gomez, together with the crew of the Cerritos, successfully completes the first contact mission.
We also need the Obina class starship in the game as well, because that's a really nice sort of Excelsior reimagining. They debuted on that show, so yeah, anyway. Would you
Yeah,
pull for
of
this
all the-
card? Tell me.
Of all the characters they could have done a deep dive for on lower decks, how many people had Sonia Gomez?
I would have thought
On
they'd have
their
done the
bingo
original,
board.
the original Sonia Gomez from said clip from, you know, hot chocolate spilling Sonia Gomez and Captain Picard would have been a great little fusion, but
I believe they did get Lisa and F to voice the character still, so I mean,
they
that
did,
was
yeah.
great.
She was back. Definitely.
I kind of like it. It's on theme for lower decks, really. I think, you know, she should have probably had an engineering secondary rather than the diplomacy. Might make her a little more valuable, and probably a little bit more in line with her character. I've got her low on voyages, 147th for cab rating, but she's gonna ride shuttles for people. Outside that, I think she's probably spot on. I mean, she shouldn't be an amazing top tier. I think she's where she should be. So.
Hey, the cab guy said tier, everybody. Yes.
Then
yeah, sorry, I think for accuracy, engineering makes a little more sense. But if she is going to ride shuttles, command dip is like they're everywhere. So command edge is a little less common.
Yeah, that's where I was going as well. You know, if he's going to end secondary, you don't get all those end shuttles, do you? So it would have been less value for a lot of people there.
Oh, Chad says took me about 35 pulls, but I finally got her. Could have been much worse. So, are you a big Sonia Gomez fan, or you like the card, or you needed what she offered, or what? What's the story behind that?
Tell us, Eric Nelson. What made you? Just
All right,
really
so-
Arnold Schwarzenegger films, or
So, Trav, you're the big collector here. What is your worst horror story, most expensive card you've ever had to curse the heavens for pulling?
I think Brain Kira was one I was going for that I failed to get. I didn't end up, but that was before I had all of them. I ended up having to wait for that to hit Portal just because it just would not draw at all. That's probably the worst time I ever had. So Gomez took a bit, probably 25, which is a lot. I was about to give up. So.
I did Breen Kira on Discord. We had, I don't know, 5 or 10 of us watching on Discord as I was doing pulls. I did 35 or 40, and on the very last pull, I was out of dilithium. In the last slot of the last
I
pack,
remember that.
she dropped. So that was something.
That was glorious. I remember that.
I think I got a couple of. She was in there with Scotty, right? That made me mad. Having a Scotty drop with.
There's some real,
Yeah.
There's some trash.
That's
in
like
there.
This is my issue with this pack. I look to the pack, and I tend to sort of generally if it's just one gold in there that I don't have, I don't go near it anyway because again the chances are just too remote for me, and I know I'm going to be frustrated. But I'm going to look to them so you got in the pack, so you got there's 3 purples is like Ambassador Spock, which again is a 2016 card or whatever anyway, I think. Great, but great now in Fleet Boss battles, loads of traits, wonderful. You got Nexus Kirk, who's a 2016 card. Again, it was good, but isn't now. And Resigned Picard, who for a Picard is pretty average. Again, not terrible for a purple, but pretty average. And then the 2 gold you got is, they say, one Skill Scotty, who for a lot of people is a bit of a joke. I feel a bit of sympathy for the old boy. He's what he is, and product of the time. And then 25th Century Q, who was a giveaway. So
Get that last star.
That's a real.
Yeah. I can
They
see
really
why
got
they
to
did
hit
that.
that.
People sitting in with 4 or 5 and going, "Oh, well, maybe I'll want this crew, and maybe I'll get him by accident," and then ending up with 5 Captain Scotts.
Again, if anyone got it was like that and had a 4 or 5 Q and got his 5th one, then great. But he's not even that great a Q. I think we said it even at the time when he came out, he wasn't that brilliant.
But he is a Q.
He is a Q, and they've just expanded his collection there.
But no, don't pull Tuesdays. It's not even,
and Scotty will
not
get
even
another
know
event in another 4 years' time. So.
Wow.
The gambling aspect of the game is sometimes kind of bad, but to add a card in there that is Scotty in there is almost like a slap. It's like, haha, we stole your money. You know,
Yeah.
it's like, you know,
That's most of the game.
I know.
Actually, I think
But
we've
that
been
was
kind of we've been kind of spoiled with Voyagers lately. But I think at the time, Breen Kira was like the number 2 Voyager, and she was the only number 1 or number 2 that had debuted since Braxton, I want to say. So it'd been like almost 2 years. So she actually was, if you're a stats nerd like most of us here, she was actually pretty tempting.
Well, speaking of Tuesday packs and, you know, looking at one thing and getting another, let's talk about this month's campaign crew, which is the body swapped Freaky Friday. Spock as T'Pring, or T'Pring as Spock. No, Spock as T'Pring, Legendary Crew Dipsec Psi from the hilarious episode Spock Amok, which is one of my favourites of the season. Vulcan is the only collection here. However, hilarious card. Good to see another T'Pring variant. I know Otto is a T'Pring fan. What do we think of this one, guys?
I don't like it.
Oh, really?
I like T'Pring. Again, this is another example of this is the first Strange New Worlds T'Pring we get. It's you know, it's Spock posing as her, which I think is it's a missed opportunity. You know, you don't get that juxtaposition of what T'Pring's stats are versus what fake T'Pring stats are. It also kind of highlights what I think I've always thought is they're sometimes very unimaginative when it comes to fleshing out these crew. I mean, looking at the stats and skills and traits on this, I don't think this is really Spock. You know, why is his security even that high? You know, why is his proficiency good at all? It seems like a great opportunity to have a crew with decent skills but low proficiencies, because he's obviously not her. You know, have his traits represent who Spock is versus who T'Pring is. It seems like this crew is a really good opportunity to be imaginative with coming up with the makeup of it, and I think it's a missed boat. I mean, the art's nice. It's an okay, you know, she. Not sure what the pronoun would be for Spock is T'Pring, but may ride some shuttles, but it's not a great card overall, and it probably shouldn't be. But I think they could have used a little more imagination crafting it. So
the soul-sharing ritual went wrong, but this could be a relationship opportunity for Spock. He deals with T'Pring's duties in his own style. Correct me
and he
if I'm
needs
wrong.
romance.
Yeah, actually, they're missing romantic. Correct me if I'm wrong, but doesn't he do some bounty hunting in this episode, sort of? And that's where I think the security comes from.
Yeah,
but
not that hot. That's
he does knock another guy out. Like, he does knock or they knock the target they're looking for, whose name I forget. So he just physically punch him in the face and knock him straight to the floor. So it's, you know, sec is warranted. Whether you want to say as high as it should be is, you know.
You could throw some medical in there too. It's like they do this sort of procedure, biological, physiological procedure of the body swaps. You could throw that in there too.
I think it's interesting. I don't know if that counts as a Spock and a T'Pring collection the same way it
both,
should.
Yeah,
it does count as both. Okay, that's good.
They have the hidden trait for both. So if one were to get featured in an event, you could.
So, which, I mean, I think it's I love the card. I love they're representing this moment because it's a good sort of like, it's almost a good trans metaphor as well. I really like that, but I think it would be good if we had a dedicated T'Pring version first, and then this could have been the fusion. You could have had Lieutenant Commander Spock and maybe T'Pring, and then they could have fused into this card. That'd have been cool. That'd have been a nice little nod.
I'd like that.
Yeah,
I do have a mild complaint in that T'Pring, the OG original series T'Pring, is Dipsec. So this being a slightly better dip base, like if we ever get a T'Pring event for whatever reason, or even if we don't,
I reckon we could.
Like, even if we don't, the only good thing that card had going for it was, you know, a decent shuttle crew, and you've kind of pipped that now by giving a better dip base to Spock as T'Pring. So
we could get like Could get like a Ponfar event or something like that where to brings a crew, couldn't we?
It's Ponfar
All the
Night
horny
at the
crew
Timelines
get a
Club.
bonus this week.
Yeah, there's a few in there, isn't there?
As long as we finally get Duelist Borg, I'll be on
Yeah.
board for a on far.
How about value for money? Because this is the campaign crew, the Uber campaign crew. This is the one above the rest. Like, we've kind of had sort of like Uber campaign started off strong. We've had a bit of middling. We've had some good, and we've had some like. Do you guys think this is worth the? Aside from all the other bonuses you get from buying an Uber campaign, do you think like looking at this card, this is sort of worth the selling point, or is it worth just waiting for the campaign, waiting for the portal to update? Sorry.
I'm probably going to sit this campaign out. Just take the lowest tier. I've not watched Strange New Worlds. The actual sort of the character, the card, everything isn't sort of engaging me there.
You should. It's a very good episode.
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure it's fine, but I'm not there yet. But so, the stats are nice. Not certainly good crew. I wouldn't say it's amazing, but we are probably again suffering that sort of bit of a hangover from all the voyages we've been getting lately. So when you get another one, it's like, okay, I'm not feeling it, I'm afraid, this one. But
Pull up in chat. Let us know if you guys are tempted by this campaign. Sorry, Trev, go ahead.
I would say she's not very special. Unless you're playing Pokemon, there's no reason to pick her up. Him.
This is the 9th Uber campaign crew.
9.
And I gotta say the first one was actually the most interesting for me. I like Lars's character. It was a gauntlet crew, a pretty interesting gauntlet crew too, by the numbers.
I use her fairly often.
And yeah, and there we've had after that we had back-to-back Command Ipsec. Judoka Kirk's art is like very questionable, so it's like they've been pretty hit or miss. So yeah, the first one was like a fun introduction, and after that I've been kind of.
There's been a couple of good. I need to look up who's been in an Uber campaign, but I it's been 2 or 3. I've kind of thought, I've kind of got money's worth out of this. Like this has been definitely worth me getting. Like you say, Second Chance Laris and whoever else I forget now, but yeah, there have definitely been ones like Judoka Kirk and. Who's been an Uber campaign crew? I'm gonna have to look it up now.
Laris, President Rilak.
She was okay.
Q
Base.
Elnor, temporarily detained to Jet Reno.
That's a good one.
Puppy
That was a good one.
placated Janeway. Evie Supermariner, Judoka Kirk, Barclay and Neelix, and now Spock as to Pring.
Barclay and Neelix is good. Yeah, they've been good ones. Barclay and Neelix and definitely not Quack Elnor. Like he's dropped so quick. But yeah.
I didn't take I didn't get Janeway or Judoka Kirk. I think they're the two that I've not taken out of those up. But, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, okay. So the other offering in this week's crew is the regular premium campaign you can get is Ishan Che Sisko, who was a bit of a boss when he first launched. Eng Dip was sort of a bit lauded back in the day. Fallen a little bit from grace now. What do we think now? Is this worth maybe sort of getting the first premium tier? He is in Portal. He is quite retrievable. If you're already working on him, is this worth the punt these days? Does he still voyage for you, chat? Does he? Please tell me.
All right, so I have a question for you three. He does not have the human trait.
Oh yeah.
He is inhabiting in story the body of a Bajoran, but he does appear human, and the others in the story, the other main cast actors, see him as human. So in the first trait audit, they added the human trait to a bunch of holograms who look human because they have a human appearance.
Mm-hmm.
Should he, and this is such nitpicking, but that's what we do on the show, should he have the human trait in your estimation?
I think so.
It makes zero difference, surely, giving him the human trait, because it's not going to make him any more. It won't make him any more retrievable with that. So you're right, and certainly it's by far not the worst issue I've got with traits and characters, but should he have human?
I think he qualifies,
Yeah.
but like I said, who doesn't have human? There's so many of them. It doesn't.
So
really...
the question is he? It's how you view it. Is one of the things? Is he Ben Sisko? He's essentially Sisko. Benjamin Sisko, then he's human, and surely all like Siskos are cultural figures, and
He is the only
and
Cisco
a million
in
and
the
one
game
traits.
without human.
So should he then automatically get all those bazillion and one traits that Siskos normally get?
Well,
Yes.
then on the other hand, you got like Changeling Bashir, who doesn't have human, despite appearing as human. So I don't know. Maybe not.
If it looks like a duck and quacks like a duck, it's a duck. Is that what we're saying?
Quack, quack, Elmo.
Gonna be honest, if we're gonna talk about one of the most common traits in the game, I don't really care.
I don't know.
It's just, he can be human or not. It really doesn't matter.
This could be it's a principal discussion.
Okay, right.
It's the principle. of the
God
thing.
damn it! I want to make this crew so
Well,
much more
you
easy
know,
to retrieve.
What else do you want to talk about with it?
Are you still using him? Do you
Yep.
think he holds up to the test of time? Is this a fun episode? Our usual bollocks.
Yeah, no, I think it's a good episode. I watched it not that long ago. I think it's a good episode. His skill set and his power still Voyages for me. It's down there. What's showing it in it? Voyage rank 109 or something on Big Book rating. I don't know where he is on cab ratings, Trav.
128.
Yeah. So, but it's that skill set. So a lot above them are going to be the Command IPSec and 25 Command Psi.
I'll argue.
So like I still use him. He gets civilian seats for me, I think, on antimatter seats. So resourceful, I think, probably to get that one. I can't remember the resourceful seat, but yeah, I think he's a good crew. If you don't have him, I'd give him. Definitely worth a look.
It's not someone that excites me too much at that level, obviously, but I think, he's engineering primary. He's not a terrible Voyager. He's going to be an inexpensive way for a, newer player or mid-game player to beef up their engineering for Voyages. So while I'm not going gaga over him, if I'm winning the game, that's irrelevant. For I think a lot of other people, he's going to be an easy way to boost their crew. So, good.
All right, here's a thought exercise because I don't think anyone stops at the premium campaign. Really, I've seen maybe one or two people over the last 9 months say that. Yeah, most people say, oh, well, for $15 more, I'll get the Uber. What would it take for you to stop at the premium in this day and age?
I mean, the Uber would have to be real trash. Like, actually hurts my crew roster to have it. Like, I lose 10 dilithium a day because they're in that roster. Something like that. It's like, no, I'm not getting that.
I'm trying to think. I might have done that. I'd have to look at what the premium crew have been recently. As I say, I know I missed out on Janeway and Kirk, but if I've already got, if I've got someone at 1 of 5 and they're a good crew, and they'll get 4 from the campaign, that would do it. Then if I wasn't that bothered about the Uber, I think I may have done it. I'll have to look now and see if I've done it recently.
I think the other rewards you get in the tracks are the real selling point. I mean, the crew nice, and that's the thing that gets the most attention, but the sites you get, the packs you get, all the things that are also rewarded in the different reward packs, that's what makes those the value. So I can't imagine, if you're willing to buy any of the, unless you're chasing specifically for a crew, if you're willing to spend the money, it's a good value whether the crew's good or not. I think.
Yeah.
Amazing value.
Yeah.
Smog and Chaz says he's not buying any campaigns at this point. Yeah, I'm not spending at all at this point. And granted, I have a little bit of a cache of dilithium, so I can still buy my quantum retrieval, which I think is kind of one of the more fun aspects of the game, hunting and picking who you want. But I'm not spending it all, and I don't even feel the drop off. Like, once your roster is established and you can compete in events, you don't really need the money. At that point, you're just doing it because it's a hobby and you want to collect the cards from the shows that you like.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I have done it. I have done it on these campaigns. The Judoka Kirk one, I got the enemy line Cisco. I needed 3 copies of him to complete him. He's got like 4 collections or something stupid, and it was like, oh, I'm doing that. And the Janeway one, Polaric Janeway, I took that level, but I didn't take the Uber level.
So why did you skip is it the crew specifically, or?
Yeah, so the top level crew didn't sort of excite me enough. And that
Didn't get you going.
And didn't fan my flames or call my pickle.
All right.
Yeah, so I have done it.
Well, enough to talk about random crew. Let's do something fun. Walt, you have petitioned us a while back using our wonderful hair flips option to recite some Trek. And we thought, well, since you are here, we'll get you to eat that request. And we will do your recite some Trek request. So, what would you like us to recite?
So way back when I thought, the guys will do it when there's like 6 of them on. It's the dining room scene from the Undiscovered Country. It was
Okay.
scene and had loads of interesting discussions from the great actors in the scene.
Okay.
Shatner.
Let's do it. Fuck it. Let's do it. Let's do it now. Let's do it live.
Hold on. So there are 7, 8, 9.
It's fine. We can
9
divvy it out.
characters in this, and there are 4 of us. So we have divvied it up. So
We will do it.
try out your best accent, boys.
Apologies in advance.
Your best
Yeah.
accents.
To the estate of David Warner, I apologise now.
So to set the scene, to set the mood, this is start of the film, and Spock has just told Kirk that he has to Nixon has to go to China, and he has to deal with the Klingons, and he has very graciously made contact with Kronos 1 and offered them to beam aboard, and the Klingons have beamed aboard. He has met Gorkon, General Krang, and Kurla, and they're all now, and Azetba, and they're now heading, and we introduce our scene at the start of the dining room of the USS Enterprise.
So the roles of Gorkon and Kurla and Azadbur, all the Klingons, will be played by Walt Koenig. The role of Chang, just Chang because he has a lot of lines, is played by Captain Idle. Trav will be playing Captain Kirk, Mr. Scott, and Uhura. And I'll be playing Spock, McCoy, and Chekhov. And scene.
I offer a toast. Undiscovered Country. Future.
The undiscovered country.
The undiscovered country. Hamlet, Act 3, Scene 1.
You have not experienced Shakespeare until you have read it in the original Klingon.
Tach, pach, tach, be. To be.
King Kirk, I thought rum and ale was illegal.
One of the advantages of being 1,000 light years from Federation headquarters.
To you, Chancellor Gorkon, one of the architects of our future. Chancellor.
Chancellor. Perhaps we are looking at some of that future here.
Tell me, Captain Kirk, would you be willing to give up Starfleet?
I believe the captain feels that Starfleet's mission has always been one of peace.
Ah.
Far be it from me to dispute my first officer. Starfleet has always been.
Oh, come now, Captain. There's no need to mince words. In space, all warriors are cold warriors.
General, are you fond of Shakespeare?
We do believe all planets have a sovereign claim to inalienable human rights.
An alien, if only you could hear yourselves. Human rights. By the very name is racist. Federation is no more than a Homo sapiens only club.
Present company accepted, of course.
In any case, we know where this is heading. The annihilation of our culture.
That's not true.
Oh?
No.
To be or not to be? That is the question which preoccupies our people, Captain Kirk. We need breathing room.
Earth, Hitler, 1938.
I beg your pardon.
Well, I see we have a long way to go.
Da, 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 da.
On that note, thank you very much for joining us, fellow cabbers, Walt and Travelling Man. It's been an absolute pleasure to have you on this week.
Wait, hold on, Trav. While we have you, can you do Scotty again, just for all of your Welsh fleet mates?
No, you're getting confused. That's Irishy from the Futurama episode. Yes, thank you very much.
Hear my accent.
Yes. Thank you very much for joining us, guys. It's been an absolute pleasure to have you on. Thank you, everyone, for chat, for joining us. We will be back next week with the Star Trek show. So come join us there as we catch up with all the latest Star Trek news and reviews. And we will be recording very soon our next Star Trek. So keep an eye on that on the YouTube channel. Ta-da. You can't find it, but you can always mariachi. Okay, we'll end the episode.
You got a Seinfeld, yes?
I knew you'd find that funny. From all of us here at Timeless Talks, we will see you next time. Ta-ra!